Hello, I'm Fierceblooms, and I thought I'd share with you today how to make a scented seasonal summer bouquet from things that you may have growing in your garden, and I'm going to show you how I do it in my wild garden style. So we're right here next to the Middlewich branch of the Shropshire Union. All the boats are quiet at the minute. I suspect people will be getting ready to go and watch something. The village is just down the hill and it's a little bit windy and wild, but do you know what? It's fine. I'm just going to share what's growing in my cut flower garden here in Cheshire right now. And this is Nepata. Beautiful scent. I absolutely love it. Vivid purple, but just so beautiful. So that's going to be going in the bouquet. This is a very favourite variety of larkspur called Misty Lavender. I've got some other larkspurs as well, but Misty Lavender is an absolute darling. She's just, she looks almost witchly. So yes, love her. And I've also got some very blue delphiniums. Not sure of the name of the variety of that, but I've had it forever. I picked it up at a garden centre and it's just been growing here for ages. I do know the variety name of this, which is Southern Charm, and it's mullein, and it's coming to the end, but I just adore it for its seed pods and its amazing colour. So they are really lovely in the garden right now, and they've been amazing, even though the caterpillars have also been present. Can never kill a caterpillar. Opium poppy heads, just right now everywhere. I never pull them out. I just let them flower and then cut the pods. Do have to be careful you don't end up with loads of seeds, but they're just really good. And the thing that lots of people are talking about at the moment, which is quite funny really, are these amazing grey poppies. And very rarely does a flower live up to its exuberant name, but these actually do. The petals are like paper. They're very fleeting, so you can see where some of them have gone over and just left with the seed pods. Mine seem to be edged in red, and some of them are edged in red, some of them are just purple. They're very mixed, but they are extremely beautiful. And yes, I'm going to include some of those in there, as well as these. These are the first of my sweet peas which are coming through, and I love this variety. It's cream edged in purple. I got it from King's Seeds, I think. High Scent is what the variety name is called. And my last but not least, for a summer bouquet, I think you do have to include some roses. So this is Fighting Tempere. She's very blown. She's even lost some of her petals on that, and you just have the anthers left. But I think that's absolutely beautiful. I love that ingredient. So I have lots of things to choose from to start my bouquet, and I think I always like to start with a sort of stiff stem. And I know lots of people kind of put things out flat in front of them, but I never like to do that. I just like to get them out of the buckets. So I'm going to chop that off down there. A key thing when you're making a bouquet is always to have your scissors handy, have your string handy that you're going to tie, or whatever you're going to tie with, and also just relax into it a little bit, because I think as soon as you start to get a bit nervous and a bit sort of, you know, you can you can lose the point of why you're doing flowers in the first place, which is as a peaceful, nurturing pastime, if you like. So I love that blue. It's a very strong colour. So I'm just going to make sure that there's a lot of that colour going everywhere. So I think that's quite good. Might even change him to the centre. I'm left-handed, so I'm arranging with the flowers in my right, and then I think I'm going to add some of this larkspur. Another thing I like to do, and I've been running some live online classes, showing people how I arrange what I do with the ingredients, how I choose my ingredients. And if you could walk with me round my cutting garden right now, you would see all of these things growing. And you would see some things that need to still be planted, because we've had the most, I'm going to say, interesting weather. We've had some really tricky weather, to be honest. It's not been very good for growing. Super cold April, very, very wet May, no rain in June. So the whole kind of growing season's been problematical, let's be honest. But I think in those circumstances, however difficult, and I honestly, I'm not the only one I know who's had a really, really tricky start to the season. I think you just, you keep going and you keep planting, and then, if the little wildlife comes along, which, they often do, you just kind of try not to get too upset about it. That's something that you've nurtured for months and months and months, and then is gobbled in one night. And then hopefully you've got some spare and backups and you can replant. So I like blues and purples, they're quite nice, and I think it's a blue and purple time of year actually. So I'm going to include some of this Southern Charm. I like the way it arcs, and I love those seed pods. So I'm standing underneath our shade here. We've just acquired a new one because the other one got blown over. We are a little bit exposed here on Minchell Hill, but this was the flattest place they could build the canal, I think, and so they did build it on a flat. So if you have a little stem poking down the bottom, you can cut them off, but always cut them long, because you can't stick the stem back on. Once you cut it, you've cut it. And I can hear a little boat going past. So usually have a conversation with them actually, see what they're doing, where they've been going. You can go to the Pontysilith in Llangollen from here, and lots of people do that journey. So the person who reputedly, so that boat is called Talon, marvellously old boat. A lot of them are built in the 30s and 40s, and they've been restored, and they've got wooden hulls, and they're magical. So you can go all the way to the Pontysilith, which is that marvellous aqueduct. I don't know whether you've seen it. Marvellous aqueduct that people go over. So Thomas Telford built that, and he built our wharf here as well, which is rather nice. So we do feel like we're stewards of this historical wharf. And so we do things like find the original docks, and we put back the finials. On our watch, 200 years later, did we put back the finials. So it'll be another 200 years, and then I hope somebody will put back the finials then. So I'm just looking at the ingredients. Sometimes they do slip, so I'm gonna just edge that one up so I can get this little sweet pea in here. And it doesn't matter that I've got a gap. It does matter that that's sticking out. And so I just carry on having a little build. I do love these opium poppies, but you do have to be super careful stripping them for obvious reasons. So, but they are such a marvellous shape, and really good for drying. So I'm going to be running a series of online classes on drying. There's such an interest. I've actually loved it ever since I started doing flowers. I was growing stuff for drying 30 years ago, whisper it, 30 years ago. Yeah, it's a favourite thing. It's always been a favourite thing. Even though it was very unfashionable at one point, I was still growing them, unfashionable or not. But it's kind of like a little bit, for those of you who remember Laura Ashley, it's very Laura Ashley, I think, and I adored all of her things. So, so yeah, I'm carrying on with my opium poppies. And it's good to have a little look and see where you are and what you want to do. So I'm going to add some more sweet peas. I think this is called ripple something. There's so many varieties and there's so many to choose from. And they are a little bit, you do have to look after them. You do have to get them going. First of all, hide them from the mice. Then you have to make sure that they're climbing okay. And then you have to make sure that you keep picking them, because once they start to go, and if you don't pick them, you just end up with lots of seed pods, which is good if you want to grow them for seed, but not if you want to keep growing them for flowers. So there's this lovely sentence that says, the generous gardener has the most blooms. So that's my bouquet. And now I think always wait to add your most delicate flower until the end. So you might not think I'm being very delicate with these, but if they're going to go, they're going to go. Nothing that I do will stop them going. So I'm just going to add that little poppy there. That one's gone, but I love the seed head, so I'm going to add it. Everybody seems to have gone bananas over these amazing grey poppies. You can just see the carapace coming away there. And I've tried to grow them so they're like a bit of a weed in our garden. We've got gravel in between the paths, so I'm hoping that I can transplant all those self-seeders that will self-seed in the gravel back onto the beds. But they just have amazing, amazing movement. I mean, look at that. So I'm going to take that out to the side, and garden blooms are, as they say, they're very gardeny. So I do think you need to make sure that they're kind of captured. It's like putting good fencing and good structures in a garden. And then for me, seasonality is about weeds too. It's about what's growing in my wild hedgerows. So I'm going to show you what's growing in my wild hedgerows, and I'm sure you've got different things that are growing in your wild hedgerows. So there's lots of grasses, and this is pink campion, but it's dried, and it's just such a lovely texture and a lovely colour. And I'm going to add some of my wild garden to the edges of this bouquet, because for me, that's what a garden bouquet is. It's about scent and seasonality, and about capturing that seasonality. So grass, there's plenty of that round here. Somebody asked me the other day, do I grow grass? And the answer is yes, I do, but in the paddock, and not, not that I planted it, but the farmer who used to have the cows in there planted it. So I use that grass. I also like things like this. This is broom, and it has like sweet pea pods on it. And I just love that textured piece that it gives at this time of year. So I kind of probably love it more than it is in the spring when it kind of is doing its yellow thing. But I like yellow, so that's okay. So I think whatever grows around you is your season, and in Cheshire at the moment, this is the season that's here, and this is Aquilegia, the seed pods, and they are just amazing at the moment, just amazing. And I like to grow things where you can have fresh and you can have dried. I don't know whether you can hear our blackbird, very noisy. We've named him Bing because he bings us up at 0000, which is, you know, which is fine if you want to get up at 5:30, but sometimes we don't want to get up at 5:30. So I'm going to turn that over and start from this side. So, and include a bit of wild on this edge. And then I think we're almost done. A little bit more of that glorious broom, which I think I might be cutting some more of that, to be honest. And a few more grasses. Oh my gosh, anybody who suffers from hay fever, you know it's been hay fever season at the moment. You know, I don't know why it's such a good pollen year. Maybe that's a good sign, but if you're a sufferer, it's not a brilliant sign, but there we go. We are on the route to the hospital here, so we do get the odd ambulance blasting past, which I can just hear. I'm not sure whether you can. So, it does stop me in my tracks a little bit, so I'm just going to pause. There we go, all gone. I'm just going to pause and have a little look at what we have here and see if I need to add anything else, see if I need to lower anything else, see if I need to raise anything else, and then if I don't, I'm going to tie it off. So I'm going to add that there. I think I might need just one more stiff stem on this side. And I have, in my rather large apron pockets, cut a piece of raffia. It's no good getting to this stage and then scrambling for a piece of raffia. So it's good to do the pre-work, get it cut, and so you always know that, to be honest, the things that I find in these pockets is quite funny. So I'm going to tie this one off, and I'm going to bid you an adieu on this YouTube, but please, if you have enjoyed watching me make this summer bouquet of scent and seasonality from our Cheshire canalside cutting garden, then feel free to subscribe or leave me any comments. I'd be absolutely delighted to hear from you.